Right, let's do this. It is Saturday. Let's take a look at gold, silver, and the miners. Not in that order, though. Let's start with the miners. Agnico Eagle Mines currently up 7.8% on the month. Pretty good, right? But that is after a horrific March. I mean, do you really think that's it? Do you really think we have a floor from March? I don't believe so. I mean, this is just, I mean, considering the decline in March, this is just a moderate bounce. I mean, I would note that despite the bounce, look at momentum, still weakening. And look how high it is. I mean, this is crazy. You cannot expect this to just keep somehow going up to infinity levels. We've had, we had years of broad chop. And yeah, we had a hell of a run from early 24. I have no doubt about it. We could weaken all the way into next year. That's the threat. I think people are underplaying it. That I would accept the mid to long term bulls can hold, and the stop, in my view, would be the 10 MA, one of my favorite technicals, which is currently 180. That's $38 down, which is 17, 18%. That's a long way. I guess you could say the really cautious would now have a stop at the intra-month low, which is 198. So $20 down, which is 9%. So yeah, I think it's a case of if you're long, okay, I get it, it's fine. But if we settle under the 10 MA, which that would be monstrously bearish. Moving on. First majestic silver. And look at that. Look at the March candle. Horrible. And we're still, so despite the main market, this is terrible. We're down 4.2% on a month. Again, in this case, 10 MA is at 16, which is still $4 down. So I would accept it's still technically midterm bullish, but I mean, really, I've said it a number of times in the last number of weeks, and people don't. I don't think people just. I don't think they just don't get it. Look at this monstrous turn, monstrous turn, monstrous turn. In fact, there's even almost a cyclical pattern here, right? Between the time periods, like 3, 4 years, and you get a massive turn. And in the last two cases, well, you can even argue there. After these big turns, you get downside for 3, 4 years. Years, not months, years. That's the concern. That should be the concern. I accept that it's still midterm bullish, and I would accept that unless we go under 16s. But I think we're going to go under 16s. And look at the momentum. It's still on the high side. It's still weakening. It could easily drop for months, years even. Don't dismiss that. I mean, look at it. Every time we get one of these big, gigantic blow-off tops, which is what it was, look at that, $4 to 32, $4 to 23, $2 to 18. Every time we come down for years. And again, I accept we haven't broken the 10 MA yet, but man, this is not a good sign. Anglo Gold Ashanti, much the same. Currently, I mean, it's actually performing better than others. 12% on a month. Yeah, midterm bullish. I'll accept that, but momentum is subtly weakening. Arc Mining, one of my old favorites. Up 6.8% on the month again, holding above the 10 MA. Momentum slowly weakening. Core Mining. Now again, you did test the 10 MA this month and you've bounced. That's a good sign. But if it does go under it, there really isn't anything much until minimum 12s and then the 7s. That's a problem. And from a momentum perspective, it's not going to take much to turn momentum negative. Again, not probably in May, but maybe by June, we could see momentum turning negative. Note that the volume in March was monstrous. I mean, we're not even. I'm looking at the typical volume would be like 100 million shares across the last 5, 6 years, and this last month it was close to 800 million. Incredible. But yeah, I think it's going to lose a ton of money. DRD Gold, very similar as most of these stocks are going to trade pretty closely. 8.8% for the month. Again, the absolute last line in the sand would be the 27s. Momentum's weakening, of course. Endeavor Silver, EXK. Again, this one's actually considerably weaker than the sector. It's still at 1.2%, but that is a black candle, and it's been testing the 10 MA. I don't think it can hold. In which case, what are we looking at? Fives. Well, actually sixes. Sixes/fives. Momentum probably won't turn negative until June. Franco Nevada, upper tier, royalty miner. Again, I'd accept, midterm bullish. Your stop would be what, 219, or maybe this month's low of 246, perhaps. Goldfields. Again, another one, 8.7%. Midterm bullish, but I can't see it holding. Momentum's weakening. Heckler, one of my old silver mining favorites. Up 4.5%. Again, relative to the March decline, it's kind of a moderate bounce. And look at where it was, 34. Hyper spike, bullish exhaustion. Already down to 19s currently. Recent 16s last month. I don't think it can hold the 16s. Momentum is weakening. Harmony. Let's have this. Wow, this is one of the weaker miners. Look at March. Catastrophic implosion from 22s to 13s. It was down like 45%, bounced. But look at it. They tried to bounce it, and now we're sustainably, actually, of course, actually March settled under the 10 MA, and we're still under the 10 MA. This is one of the weakest gold miners now. Horrible. 26s to the current 16s. This one is absolutely broken. And you can think, well, what's the next support? Where's the next really big support? I mean, really. Sevens? Sevens. Oh, look at this. Wow, there it is. We actually have a miner where the momentum has turned negative. I mean, it's got to happen, right? And this is one of the first miners I've noticed that's just done it. So this is terrible. This is a bad. I mean, it's terrible to the sector, but you can arguably say that it's a leading warning for the sector. It's a bad performance. Kinross Gold. Yeah, this is up 10.5%. It's bouncing relative to the March decline. Again, momentum is weakening slowly, but I would accept again the long-term bulls can have a stop maybe 27s, or even the intra-month low of 30. Newmont, arguably the best gold miner in the world, currently up 11.7%. You see the March candle was spiky from the 10 of May, currently 120, which isn't that far from the January 134s. I mean, if you're bullish, right? If you're bullish to miners, you need to be seeing 134s cleared. You clear that, and off we can go. 150, 200. Otherwise, I think this is just a bounce from the March decline. Momentum is on the high end, and it is still weakening. Pan American Silver, arguably the best silver miner in the world. Again, March smashed down. We're getting a bounce, 5.5%. 10 MA 46s. If that fails to hold, we have a long way down to maybe what are we looking at? I mean, forget 35s holding. You'd be looking at what? 20, 18s. Momentum's weakening. Royal Gold, another royalty miner up 5%. Not much to say about that. SSR mining. That might be a historic high. I'm not sure, I should check. Let's go out 25 years or 20 years. No, it's not. So the all-time high of $45 from 2007. Of course, that was when the market, literally, that was the market top before the property crash. And we printed 36. Note the fact that the April candle is rather spiky. That is, that's a problem. Look at the spike. Look at the spikes here, marking a top in early 22. I mean, this wasn't such a great spike, but it did mark a key top in 2011. You see, look at this candle here in what month was that? September of 11. That was a really ugly bearish engulfing candle. We had downside all the way down to the freeze. I mean, look, we were at freeze here. Massive ramp. I mean, look, I will accept this is one of the more bullish stocks short term because it has broken a new multi-year high. So I would accept it's the current candle spiky, which is a little bit of a bearish sign. But again, the 10 MA is 24. It's a long way down. It's too low for a stop. I mean, if I was long the stock, which I'm not, where would you put your stop? $30? I mean, that's 10% down. That's a personal risk reward issue, right? Finally, wheat and precious metals, again, kind of reflective of the sector. It's bouncing after a terrible March drop. I mean, again, if the 10 MA doesn't hold, 119s, it's a long way down. The target would be 50 freeze. That's like 55% down. So be quite clear again. I would accept most of these stocks. Harmony Gold appears the only one that isn't. Most of these stocks are still currently midterm bullish. But if the main market does another rollover, the miners will get dragged down as well. So again, the main market was whacked in March, and hence the miners were dragged down. Okay, gold, silver we need to cover. So, where are you? Let's start with. Do you care about the daily charts? Not really. Weeklies? I don't know. Oh yeah. So for the week we're up 1.6%. But look, what is this? What is that? Is it you want to say if you ignore that spike there, which I don't know. I guess we can't ignore. We shouldn't ignore it. It was wild volatility here, right? But whatever you want to call it in terms of waves, you can argue this is a bear flag. It's not quite a good one because you've got this spike here. If it wasn't that spike, it would be a really clean bear flag. But my issue would be as long as you're under weekly 10 MA, you have a sell signal. So that's a problem. Momentum is on the very low side, but until it turns positive, you have a sell signal. Look at how low it is relative to the drop in late summer of 25. Massively low. It's just a collapse wave. And it's probably gonna be it's probably gonna be even if gold ticks upwards, it's gonna be negative until at least mid-May. At the earliest, we're still gonna have a sell signal. Let's get to a monthly chart because that's what I really like focusing on. We don't care about that one. That's too broad across. Let's look at more tighter time range. Momentum is currently weakening for a second month. Still on the high. I mean, look, we could tick down for a long time. I mean, look at this. Look at the March candle. Bearish engulfing. Very bearish. And we're up on a month, right? But it's a mediocre. It's a mediocre, to quote Immortan Joe. It's mediocre. You want to get excited about that after this? This is a weak, mediocre bounce. Again, I would accept midterm bullish still. right? You can even see the March candle right off a 10 MA. And if we take out 42.73, because that number changes a little bit each day, that would be a really problem. That'd be a big problem. That would offer basic downside of 3,500 minimum target. I'm absolutely, I mean, quite clear. Absolutely mid long, well, I should say long-term bullish gold. Short term, I'm very concerned. I can't be long gold right now. I wish I could. I'm one of the biggest gold silver proponents out there. You know, I made a truckload of trades from last autumn into the early part of the year, most of which went right. One or two didn't. This is no good. This isn't inspiring me at all. So I don't like it. We're clearly still overbought. I mean, frankly, I want to see it break down. I want to see a nice gold washout and buy it back sometime later this year, maybe in the fall. Of course, the gold bugs don't like that sort of talk. They get very upset at me. They just want me to say gold's going to go to 10,000, 25,000. So I'm mixed on it. I can't be buying this. Can't do it. I mean, maybe if we have a couple of months just trending, if we have a couple of months trending sideways, all right, I could get into that then if we have a few more months, say 2, 3, 4 months, get into the mid late summer, and then start powering up. It's fine, but I don't see that. I think we're going to break down. Silver. Don't care about the dailies. Just go with the weeklies. So price structure does look similar to gold as it should. Momentum. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the divergence. Look at the divergence there. And we're still negative. There's no sign of a turn. Let's look again. This is a weekly chart. This little black MACD line can tick all the way down into late summer. So yeah, momentum cyclically we're on the low end, but we could have a double, triple cycle, down cycle into the late summer. There is nothing bullish here yet. And look, what is this? You could argue this is just a bear flag on a weekly chart. Look at this. Lower highs, lower lows. Not bullish. Show me a break above a 10 MA. Maybe the Bulls have got something there, but look at that. We had a break above a 10 MA there. Massive reversal. I struggle. And again, my issue is if you're bearish the equity market, you cannot be bullish silver or the mining stocks. And I am still currently net bearish the main equity market. Some perspective on silver on a weekly chart. Let's just jump to this one. I mean, look, the first thing that comes to mind is look, we're underlying momentum is weakening. It's probably going to tick down May, June, July. We could weaken all the way into late summer. And look, see how high we are. This is crazy high. We're not over. I mean, we've only just started. We could weaken for months. And again, if you're bearish equities, you have to be bearish silver. Look at the gain. We're up. So despite the equity market having a really good bounce of what 8% or so from the low, silver's up 1%. Again, mediocre. It's a mediocre bounce after the smackdown in March. I would accept we're still midterm bullish above a 10 MA, 62s. The really scary thing, well, not scary, it's kind of exciting in a way in that if we lose the 62s, $50 is easy. And you're going to think, well, what about 34s? And I accept 34s is crazy talk. But hey, when we were going up, I thought 75 to 80 in January was going to be good bullish, was a bold target. And we got to 121, ironically. But yeah, the only real issue is if you're bearish equities, you got to be bearish silver as well. I don't care how bullish silver you want to be. The problem is if you believe the market's going to get hit because of global or some degree of recession, then silver will not be able to rally sustainably. It won't be able to do it. I think we'll end it there. Yeah. I mean, other than to reinforce that, I would accept the miners, gold and silver, are still technically mid slash long term bullish, but these bounces this month are so far relatively mediocre for gold and silver. The miners are certainly getting a better bounce on commodities. And my guess is if the main equity market rolls over, there is no way that silver is going to be able to escape. And I still think that's something that most people are completely in denial about. They don't want to hear it because they just want to hear that silver's going to be $150, $200 later this year. Well, silver had a chance and it popped. Literally, the bubble pop was this gigantic spike. And yeah, this bounce here in February did not last. Massive reversal candle. So yeah. Of course, if you're bullish equities, then I can understand you getting involved and thinking that maybe we're going to be up above 100 in the summer. I don't believe that. I think gold, silver, and the miners are going to be dragged down by the main market. Is there anything else? There's a few other little things, but I think we'll keep it short to that. I wish you a good weekend. Be good.